Hey guys, welcome to Week 11 wrap-up. I was sick earlier this week, but I'm back. Let's go. Last week's game of the week, Dan Drury versus Baus. Dan Drury managed to squeak out a 2-point victory over Baus despite a 41-point effort by rookie wide receiver Mike Evans. Your high score last week was 110 points by Eric and John, while your low score was 72 by Fat Craig. Let's talk about this year's fantasy busts. Ben Tate. Owners held out for him to finally get healthy, only to see him get traded to the lowly Vikings. We'll see them this week, but I don't expect a lot from Ben Tate for the rest of the year or the rest of his career, but I guess we'll have to wait and see if I'm wrong about that. Speaking of the Vikings, Adrian Peterson owners were holding out hope that he might return this year. Clearly now it looks like that he's going to miss the entire year. Probably won't be on the Vikings next year. He's getting a bit old. We'll have to see what his value ends up being in the end. Monte Ball, who I've mentioned before, he finally got back on the field last week, only to instantly be hurt again. You have to imagine he's pretty much done for this year, maybe done for his career as well. And lastly, I'll leave you guys with more of a bit of a surprise. I'm going to put Julio Jones in the bust category this year. He hasn't put up any numbers that are respectable since week 3, and even Roddy White now has passed him up in production, so I'm going to give Julio Jones the bust label as well. And now it's time for the Miller Lite bold prediction. As you can see, Miller Lite is now featuring their 24-ounce can for the same price as the 12-ounce can. So you can rush out, get a 24-pack, and you're actually getting 32 beers. This week's Miller Lite bold prediction, Dan Drury over Craig. Right now, Craig is favored by 21 points, but I think Dan Drury will eke out the win. And now it's time for the High V Game of the Week. This week's Game of the Week, I have myself versus Dan Hermes. Both teams are 6-5, trying to hold on to the playoff spots. The loser of this game could definitely end up being out of the playoffs, as they'll be in 5th place potentially. ESPN has this game spread by only 6 points in favor of Dan, so it means a lot to both teams, and ESPN thinks it's going to be a close one. Let's see what Dan has to say about this matchup.
Hey fellas, it's Ace Boogie over here. Guess what time it is? Game of the week. Just like my starting QB, I got a fresh do. I'm feeling good. Check it out. That's right. Hey, Mr. Thompson, game of the week with my squad. Pretty sad, man. You better win. I got half my team on bye. Really got no chance of winning this week, but we'll see what happens. If you lose, that's really on you. You really shouldn't be in the playoffs. If I win, I'll see on my fate, head into the playoffs, and got a good chance of making that championship dream come true, like I've been saying from the get-go. There's sirens all around me. They're probably after me because I look so good with this new haircut, so I better sign off. Peace!
So clearly that was a reverse jinx attempt by Dan. It's not going to work, especially since his team is favored, so it doesn't even make sense to begin with. I don't think his new do will do anything for him or his pathetic, washed-up quarterback. And I just hope Dan has a lot of fun rooting against the Packers this week as he tries to hope that Aaron Rodgers and Eddie Lacy don't continue their utter domination. So good luck to Dan. And that's it for the Week 11 wrap-up. I'll see you guys in Week 12.